What is happening, everybody? Bashar J Katou here, Amazon BSLer from beautiful San Diego. In today's episode, I bring on Veronica Rosenfield, who is a transformational speaker, clarity mentor, and founder of You Rise movement. She helps ambitious entrepreneurs build momentum and breakthrough in their businesses and life. And in 2017, she actually was awarded the most outstanding intuitive life coach of the year, and the award was actually presented to her by the legendary Les Brown. Veronica, how you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Veronica, I really, honestly, I've known you for some time right now. We've been going back and forth with different things. I know anything that really came out of you was total value, and I know that you're still trying to deliver value to me. So I really can't, thank you enough for everything you're trying to do for me. I just want to really learn more about who Veronica really was before you started this whole journey. So why don't you take us back a little bit of a couple of years back, who you were really and how did you come around to doing what it is that you do today?
Can I bring you back to 2012? I'll bring you back to 2012, where I am in the car. I'm going to gas pump. My two teenagers are in the car, my 4- and 5-year-olds. And my credit card, I go through once, twice, 3 times, it doesn't go through. Until that moment, I've never had the financial issues in my life. The money is there. And that's when reality hits. The divorce is final. And basically the other party just shut down everything to protect their interests.
Wow.
And at that moment, I remember I sit and I ask myself, I raised my eyes up and I said, dear God, how in the world did I get here?
Right.
And I remember the answer came right away because rewinding, so that's 2012. In 1999, I came in this country, no English, heavy learning disability. And in 4 years, I finished college, married the man of my dreams. Dreams sometimes get adjusted and change. And I was able to have a corporate job and I could own the house with him. So how in the world did I do it in 4 years? Because I know you're not from here too, but people in here, like they can finish college in 4 years. So the answer was simple, is that I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And then I didn't, and I was completely flexible how I get there. And I realized that if I be able to figure that out again, and I am a process girl and a formula girl, being an accountant for 12 years, if I figure that out again, not only I can help myself, obviously, not only I can help other people, but most importantly, those toddlers and the back of my room, of my car, I need to show them that anything is possible. I need to show them that anything is possible. And those toddlers are not toddlers anymore. They are 11, well, she's gonna be 11 in June. She's 10 and he is 12. The 12-year-old built computer in 2 days on a budget. Took him 3 months to plan everything. I gave him money. He built himself a computer.
Wow.
I can even show you guys. It's right here. So we're not making it up. Here's the computer. See? Here's the computer.
Amazing.
It's all sparkling because he's 12 and everything has to sparkle. It's off right now. They're not with me today. So. And my least ambitious child was already speaking on a stage with her inspirational song "Dreams Come True Because of You." And usually, some of my clients, when I show them, they cry, and some of my clients, when I say I need 5 minutes motivation, I said, "Here you go."
Right.
Here you 5 minutes motivation. They're like, "Your 10-year-old is so amazing." So that's how it started, and that's how I got where I am today. So I've created the process. And I'm on a mission to transform and help people so they don't have to go through what I went through, because I went through 7 unemployments and I went through any disadvantage in business or in life that it's there. Like I've lost my website for 4 times. I've lost so many clients, and then I got another clients, and then it was ups and downs for a very long time.
Absolutely.
But that's clarity that allowed me to move forward.
That's awesome. That is amazing. You know, and it's such an inspirational story. And, you know, honestly, I always say this, like literally, if you go back to all of my videos, I always say that every single entrepreneur that I brought on this channel that, you know, has achieved any type of success in life, it was always after they kind of hit that rock bottom, you know, after they had like got to the point where they had almost lost everything. There was like nothing more to lose. And that's kind of when things just dramatically changed in their lives. And I think sometimes that we just need that like wake up call that, hey, what are you doing? Like, this is not where you need to be going. You know, you need to be shifting your focus and your path somewhere else, right? So that is definitely awesome. I definitely am inspired, and you know, I can't salute you enough for what you have accomplished. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do? Actually, you know what? Before we go there, tell us a little bit about that award that Les Brown gave you. Why don't you, you know, tell us more about how you really got that? You know, how, you know, why was it that you and Les ended up in the same place, and how did that even go about to happen?
Interesting. It's funny. So I pray, and you guys might think it's crazy, right? So my background in accounting, I'm a very practical person, or at least I used to be exceptionally practical. I didn't believe in any of that. And it was, I never forget, it was 2017. I go in October, I go to event. And by that time, so like I said, every time I try to build marketing, it fails. So after 7 of unemployment, I just go to events and I find clients that way. And it's October, and I have like high profile clients by now. And right. Like owners of multi-million-dollar companies, and I've had like one of the smaller partner of 3 of them own half of the street in Carlsbad. Like, it was very glamorous year. And with all of that, I was exhausted. I was exhausted by constantly going to events. And of course, you don't make clients all the time. And it's like ups and downs all the time. And I remember it was a very nice event in October. And as I was walking, I prayed. I said, dear God, I can't do that anymore. I need to be a speaker. I need to be on the other side of the stage. I mean, I need to be known. I need to be in a big pond, because I'm still in a small pond.
Absolutely.
Please, dear God, whatever is here for me, and I still need a website, of course. So anything that is here for me, please give it to me. And it was kind of insane. To make a long story short, I end up at event where I was not supposed to be. So it was event, and then this girl came. I came with a Russian friend. He introduced me to a Russian girl. I did my energy work and coaching for her. She comes back to me next day. She says, wow, I've worked with so many people, but what you do is fantastic, because there is this very powerful person invited me to the personal event today night. And I could hear a voice saying, you must be there. I said, can I come with you? She said, well, he didn't allow me to bring friends. She said, but when I'm going to ask for address, come with me. And I go, and he invites me as well. And I come there, and I never forget, we introduce ourselves. We're sitting in a circle, we're introducing ourselves. And it's like, you know how sometimes you can feel the audience, and there is like, it's a private VIP dinner. And his mastermind, like, he brought us all for dinner in order to invite us to very expensive, very elite private mastermind. Right. And half of the people is like multimillionaires, like people who won like all kind of records and all kind of things. And the other half is like, it's Los Angeles, it's the good looking girls who are still figuring out who they are. Right. And young and good looking, you know, want to be actresses, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm not as young and good looking, and I'm not owner of a multi-million-dollar company yet, and I made any records. So I literally prayed. I said, dear God, talk through me, because I need a miracle right now. So I got my clients, and I got paid. Like, whatever happened to be happened here. I'm here for a reason. And whatever I said is, I got paid client almost instantly. And then he came to me, the person who organized it, and he said, you know, and what I usually say, that clarity will save the world. It started from that point, because when you clearly know who you are and what is very next for you, you create peace inside of you. Peace inside of you creates peace with all people around you, and it eradicates world wars. And when it eradicates world wars, it eradicates environment adjust, and the environment gets back to where it has to be. It eradicates global warming. So it's a different point of view, and it's the first time I channel it through at that event. And he came to me, he says, oh, I believe in clarity, look at my bracelet. And we start talking, and he said, well, next day he said, well, would you like to come to my mastermind? It's the second largest cruise ship in the world. I said, well, right now I can't, I'm sorry. You know, because I came, so I saw, I mean, it was, I knew, I already decided, so I was very relaxed. And he said, well, what if you manifested? And so he understood that he needs my services. And we ended up working together. And I remember the moment, because he's like, well, come with me to the, in exchange of you're gonna coach and mentor me and come there. And I agreed to that because I wanted to, because he was 20 years speaker. He was a former, he used to work for Tony Robbins and John Asseroff. So he was flying way higher than I was.
Right.
And so being with somebody like that, you can learn a lot.
Absolutely.
And I'm a deep believer, and you and I privately talked about, I'm a deep believer because the fastest way to grow anywhere, because I always joke, I say, I believe in three things. I believe in God, in my children, and in masterminds. Because when you, the shortcut to your success is surround yourself by people who've been where you are and 7 times more successful.
Right.
Ironically, this person teach exactly what I teach, and he needed help. But he teaches in terms of Tony Robbins stuff, and I do a lot of energy work.
Right.
And we connected. I remember the week before the cruise. So I was responsible to energetically align the right people to come, because when I met him, it was 2 months before the cruise, and people were not there. So I was aligning people and working with him and doing a lot of work. And I remember I was sitting literally where I'm sitting right now, and I looked up and I said, you know, 2 years ago I wanted to see Les Brown, but I was working 90 hours, and if I would miss 1 more day from work, I would lose the job. So I couldn't do that. And I said, well, dear God, I think now I can. So can I meet him in person? Meaning, I thought it will be, you know, another like stadium or something.
Right.
And I energetically could hear that the answer was yes. I couldn't explain it, but I know sometimes when I say it, and I know that like it's gonna happen. And I let it go. And we are going. I am on the ship. I'm on the ship, and everybody is having this hovering around the person, and I couldn't understand for a while. And that was Les Brown. So he was very sick at the time, and basically I aligned energy for him to show up, because he never confirmed until last moment. He showed up almost without announcing himself, because he was having health issues. And I come to the guy who does that, and I say, Roger, do you mind to introduce me to Les Brown tomorrow? It's a 7-day cruise. He says, well, aren't you speaking tomorrow? First time in my life, publicly speaking. And Les Brown is in the audience. And I remember my girlfriend says, what are you doing after that? I said, I'm gonna breathe, because I can breathe. And I put in my speech, so I said, I believe that I'm meant to be in the front of stadiums, because the fact that I speak first time, because Les Brown was a caliber. He wasn't like, it was everybody there. Like, it was a girl with 10 million followers. It was like everybody was there of that level, and me. And what's interesting about this type of caliber of events is that everybody thought that they're outside of their comfort zone, and the only person who was fine, it's me, because, you know, after a certain level, you just relax.
Right.
And I remember I put in my speech, I said, if you are, I said, and the fact that Les Brown in the audience is just a sign that I'm going to speak in front of stadiums. So the first, after I spoke, I got my page, another client showed up, but I think one of the first people who came to me was Les Brown and said, if you're serious, I'll teach you. His significant other was sick, and I said, well, if you open, I'll heal you. And I literally did this, and they wouldn't show up because she was sick. She had seasickness. I did literally this on her, and her seasickness left, and she became my best friend. And we were talking, and at that event, by that time, I've created so much results for the person who I was working for that he was nominated me with that award.
Wow.
And that's a person who knows a lot of coaches and healers.
That is awesome. That is amazing. I mean, it's such a such an awesome story. And honestly, I was really just trying to really just stay with you in this, because it's such a great story, that it's probably something that it's always going to stay with me, and yes, as you said earlier, is that, a lot of times, like, honestly, we just happen to be in the right places at the right time, and things just open up for us only if we just, make the decision to really just go there. And in fact, I don't know if I told you, but I actually have my first ever speaking gig coming up in about a month. And the way that happened was crazy. In 2019, I decided to start attending one meetup per week, right? And then I met this guy named Marshall Gillen. I'm not sure if you know him. Right. And then I attended his weekly or his monthly meetup. The second meetup I attended, some lady just came out of nowhere, and then she was saying, which I now, became good friends with her. Her name is Marielle. She's on Facebook. I'm not sure if you know her or not. And she said, oh, yeah, well, I'm looking for speakers. It's the San Diego Startup Week. And then I was like, wait a second, hold on. This is not happening. And I just went up to her, started talking to her. She's like, oh, yeah, I know you. We're friends on Facebook. I would love to have you on my team. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I went home and I'm like, what the hell did I just do right now? I know nothing about speaking on stages. So now I have Marshall helping me out and stuff like that. But it was just literally being at the right place at the right time and actually taking action and doing something about it, not just kind of staring the opportunity in the eye and say, okay, well, that's probably not me, and just kind of pass it by, So that's definitely awesome. Now, so with your clients, so you're
I actually talking to her too. There is a very high chance I'm going to be on that speaking at that
awesome.
event.
That's amazing. I'll probably see you there. So, so what are some services that you provide your clients today?
So there is 2 ways to work with me, through group or private. But what I provide, I create that clarity, because you are sitting somewhere, I'm sitting somewhere. We know street number, city, and a zip code where we are. When it comes to life, very often we don't. We don't, and we're driving 100 miles an hour opposite direction.
Right.
So, and very often people think, and like I said, maybe I've shared, maybe I didn't. I've shared it in my written thing in my bio. I've worked with owners of multi-million-dollar companies. I've worked with startups. I've worked with everybody in between, with corporate professionals. So it doesn't matter how high or you just starting in this life. It really doesn't matter. What does matter is that everybody's losing that point of view, because even if you have a big picture, you might have not understanding where you are in your road. Right? Because let's say we both live in San Diego, so Los Angeles is 2 hours away. But if we're in San Diego, great. But what if you live in New York and you need to take airplane? Because if you start driving to Los Angeles from New York, it's not going to take you 2 hours. And very often we underestimate where we are or overestimate where we are. And then we're losing our hope for our dreams because we didn't take a flight and we are driving and it takes 3 days to drive, right? That's one piece of that. The other piece is, when we are born, we just like sponges. We absorb everything between the age of 0 to 7, and that becomes our programming that goes to our subconscious mind. Just like our cell phones have programs that goes to our apps. The problem is that apps we upgrade once or twice a month, and we don't upgrade our subconscious. So we live basically on what we decided between the age of 0 to 7. And you're relatively young, and I am to many people relatively young, but I make much better decision today than I did at at the age of 7, even though I was very smart 7-year-old. So with that being said, what I do 2 things. I help you to figure out where you are, where you're going, and basically get there without traffic, because we remove those energetical blocks.
That's awesome. That is amazing. And, you know, and I think a lot of times, you know, we know kind of where we want to go, or we have an idea of where we want to go, but a lot of times we kind of don't have the vehicle to get us there, or we even have vehicle to get us there. But, you know, as you said, you remove all the traffic because there's what's called, you know, shiny object syndrome. And a lot of times, you know, we just kind of keep grasping on, you know, random stuff that keep us busy from the main objective, you know. I recently took a joined a mastermind. I share, you know, talk about it in my page all the time. And the mentor is always talking about, you know, everyone, you know, I love Gary Vee. You know, I'm a big fan of him, but he hates Gary Vee because he says Gary Vee is all about, you need to have a Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, podcast, email list. You need to have all these different things in order for you to build a brand. But, you know, the way my mentor talks about it is that, you know, you need to focus on one thing, which is whatever that, you know, the 20, he talks a lot about the 20 and 80%, you know, rule. You know, it's that a lot of times our you know, 80% of our effort goes into things that are really not productive, where 20% of the effort, you know, or the things that we really spend time on are really what gets us 80% of our results. So we really need to laser focus on the things that that really get us results, and that take us to that point in life where we want to go. Well, Veronica, it's been an honor having you. It's been, you know, a great time having you on this channel. I know me and you know, have a long future to be working together here in the soon future, and I'll probably see you in end of May, June. I'm not sure when you would be speaking. What is one thing, before you leave, what is one thing you would tell entrepreneurs out there today that are kind of struggling to get their message out?
Find the clarity, what is uniquely you.
Right.
And energetically create a footprint. You don't know how to do it, Joy. You are welcome to talk to professionals like me, but you have to clearly understand what you are and how you stand out from anybody else. And usually how that works is usually a pieces of you, which we end up usually dismiss. Like you shared with me that you are from Iraq, right?
Right.
And you are marketing and you are very young and you're single and ambitious, right? Those are all of those pieces, it's your brand.
Right.
And very often we dismiss those things. And we separate certain things, and all of those things together make us uniquely, collectively us.
Absolutely.
So I think it just, and I see it all the time. People invest in websites, people invest in all kinds of training. People tell me, I can't work with you because I need to invest in that. And I always ask one question. I say, well, if you don't know exactly what your message is, what's the point to invest in everything else?
Right.
Because think about most people, I know, I work with a couple of amazing marketing agencies. How many people go and rebrand themselves every few years because they don't know what their message is?
Right. Absolutely.
Like the way my message position is positioned for the next 10, 20 years.
Absolutely.
Because it's positioned way higher than what I'm doing at the moment. But because I have that vision, and if people don't have that big vision, you're gonna quit much shorter than somebody who does. So it's just knowing what sets you apart from everybody else. And like you said, not to try to do too many things. Like I worked with, you're in marketing, so I'll get a marketing example. I had a client, she owns a marketing agency, and she is a sweetheart, worked for Fortune 500 in accounting, sweetheart, and she will grab any project she can in marketing, and she'll just learn. Yep. And I said, well, Melissa, what are you good at?
Right.
And then she focused, she started specializing in paid marketing. And everything started going up, 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 because that's her strong power. Right. And so she started wasting time on any other project. So it's just figuring out what are you good at. I mean, I'm good at many. I'm a certified chef, but I know that's not what I make money on.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. And, that's kind of, one of the most things that my mentor talks about is generalism. You can't be a generalist and just kind of talk and cover everything. You can't say yes to everything. You have to learn how to say no, and you have to kind of just, because they always say the riches are in the niches, and if you're not going to niche down exactly and focus on one thing, you're going to just kind of be all over the place. So with that being said, Veronica, it's been an honor having you. I really appreciate you coming live with us. Any of you guys that are watching today, be sure to drop your comments in the comment section. Ask me or her any questions you have. She is tagged in the comment. So if there's anything specific you want to direct to her, be sure to drop it in the comment section. And also, if you want to work with her, once again, she is tagged in the description. So feel free to reach out to her. An awesome person. Once again, she's offered just so much value to me personally outside of this live video that I just can't thank her enough for it. Veronica, I really appreciate you. I really, wish both of us, for a long journey together, working together. Thank you guys for watching. As you all know, every day I bring on an entrepreneur with a product or service that can impact your lives, as it is the mission of my movement in 2019 to impact the lives of 2,500 people. So with that being said, I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Veronica, thank you very much. We'll see you later. You all have a great day, and take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for having